up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Unionistas de Salamanca versus Barcelona in the Copa del Rey round of 16. Let's be honest, it's our best chance to win a trophy this season. The cup is the only way I see a realistic chance for Barcelona to lift some silverware this season, so this needs to be taken with the utmost priority. And of course, following the weekend Super Cup final, not only do the players and the manager need to bounce back, the whole entire institution of Barcelona need to bounce back, and they have a quite potentially tricky game against a third division side away in the cup. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 7:30 p.m. local time, so a few hours earlier than usual. I think that's because later on there will be the Madrid derby in the Copa del Rey in round 16 as well. But this match will be taking place at the Campo de Fútbol Reina Sofia Stadium, which is the home stadium of Unionistas. I believe it is a 5,000 capacity, and of course the tickets a few days ago sold out completely. And the referee for this match has also been confirmed. On the pitch it will be Francisco Hernandez, and on the VAR it will be Eduardo Iglesias. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Unionistas. Of course, as a very low division side, it's going to be difficult to analyze, but there are a few talking points that we can discuss. Currently, they are a third division team in the RFEF entire football pyramid federation. They are in the same league as the B team for Barcelona, Barca Athletic, and they're currently sat in 13th place in the league after playing 19 matches. They have 25 points, but they have 6 wins, 7 draws, and 6 losses, where you have the Barca Athletic team ahead of them by about 3 points on 28 points, but a lot of spaces ahead in 7. So they are kind of sitting middle to lower side of the table, where Barcelona Athletic are kind of sitting medium to the top area of the league. But of course, it is subject to how you perform and things of that nature. You can't really compare the two sides. But if you take a look at Unionistas' last 6 matches in all competition, in their last match they do have a 2-1 victory in the Primera Federation. Of course, in the Copa del Rey round of 32, they drew a 1-1 with Villarreal but beat them on penalties. And before that game, they actually played Barca Athletic at the Estadio Johan Cruyff and beat them 2-0. They got a 0-0 draw, a 1-0 loss, and also a 2-0 win against Sporting Gijón in the second round of the Copa del Rey before the round against Villarreal, of course. But let's take a look at their last 3 matches in all competition. Firstly is the 2-0 loss of Barca Athletic. Of course, this will come hopefully as a benefit to Barcelona, as some of the B team players who will be traveling with the first team have already played. Unionistas, of course, Rafa Marquez will have that analysis report that he can of course apply to Xavi. Very similar to what happened, I believe, last season when Barca Athletic faced Intercity. I think the manager then, was it Rafa Marquez? Was it Barjuan? I think it was Rafa Marquez last season who gave the match report, their match analysis, of course, on the opponents. That will come in handy. It was a 2-0 loss. Again, I did see the highlights of this game. I would say it was a pretty even contest, but Unionistas were very clinical in the final third. But again, I think this will definitely serve as a benefit for Xavi and his technical staff. Next up is their 1-1 draw against Villarreal. This is very much a moments game. I think the game did end a full-time 1-1. Villarreal pulled a goal. I think it was Elias Akumash, the former Barcelona player. It was Gerard Moreno, who got a goal around the 80th minute, and then Unionistas got a penalty in the 89th minute. They equalized. It was going to go into extra time, and then the lights went out in the stadium. They couldn't get it back up, so that's why they had to delay the match until the next day. They went to extra time, no real chances. Pretty much as soon as the game was delayed, everyone knew it was going to penalties, and they got the luck of the draw. They beat them 7-6. I believe it was Trigueros who missed the penalty for Villarreal, if I'm not mistaken. But again, it was a very much Unionistas playing on moment. They're the underdogs heavily. They have the home stadium, not of great Villarreal side. Again, Villarreal, I think, lower half of the Liga table. They tried to change about 2 or 3 managers this season so far. They've had absolutely howler of a season as well. So it's a big name, but they were not playing well whatsoever. So it's definitely something that Unionistas believed they could have got at. In the end, they did credit to them. They beat them on penalties and continued their miracle run in the King's Cup. And their final match in all competition was, of course, that 2-1 win in the Primera Division. They did play, I believe, on Saturday, but we played on Sunday, of course, in the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. So they definitely do have the extra rest, and of course, being the home team as well. They do line up in a 4-4-2. knowing them against Barcelona, they probably will change it to a 5-4-1 or a 5-3-2, whatever the case may be. If they really got balls to them, they will stick with their 4-4-2 as their default formation. It was a very tight game for them, to be fair. They were under the cosh quite a bit, but again, they're on this high buzz, you know, facing Barcelona in the next round, beating Villarreal. So I think that momentum really held them in this game, and they ended up winning 2-1 and picking up 3 big points for them in the third division. So overall, final thoughts on Unionistas. Of course, they're very, what can I say, compared to Barcelona, they're not the best side in the world. Their manager is Danny Pos, who is a very experienced manager in the lower divisions. He's been around the block quite a few times. I don't believe he managed in the first division. Again, this is going to be very similar to the Barbasso game. A game is going to be played on moments, especially for them. They're seeing Barcelona team as vulnerable, not playing well, lost the cup final, they're at home. They're going to see it as a massive opportunity. Based on their squad, there is no name that I really noticed. There's no name that's been at a former big club, wherever the case may be. Not like we've seen against Intercity and other teams like Ceuta in the past. It's very much a team where I've never really heard any of their players in any capacity whatsoever. But again, they're 100% going to be playing on moments. You're going to have the whole entire stadium behind them, 6,000 people, pushing a very vulnerable, you could say, Barcelona team. The most important thing, in my opinion, for Barcelona in this match is to keep their composure, which I don't think they'll do, but it's something they have to do in this game, especially when everyone in the stadium is going to be against you. Keep your composure. You're going to be the clear and dominant side, and of course, we're talking based on pure ability. Unionistas should stand absolutely zero chance. Getting the first goal of this game for Barcelona is going to be crucial as well to absolutely silence the crowd and also bring them the momentum of Unionistas. But their game plans will be very simple. Stay defensively a lot, especially in that first 15-20 minutes. Hit on the counter and see if you can get a goal. If they get a goal first, Madre mia, are we in for a night? But their game plan is very simple. It's also very simple for Barcelona to nullify it as well. Now, as I just mentioned, of course, Barcelona are coming into this game with immense amount of pressure, and it's mainly on the manager, Xavi Hernandez. We do have some updates in the media in regards to his position as the manager and what the future entails. Now, Tony Juan Marti came out saying that yesterday the players and the coaching staff had a long team meeting before the training session. It was long and sincere conversation, and they discussed their problems. The focus was to do more if they want to win trophies and compete against the top teams. The coaches criticized themselves too, and they believe they should turn the page as soon as possible to face what's coming to them. The most important part of the season is coming, and they can still turn around the situation. So there was, a team meeting at yesterday's training session, which of course is very important. The most important thing right now is that everyone acknowledges their mistakes. You pick the push forward, holding hands, and most importantly, unity and togetherness. I think that's going to be very important. If there are a lot of reports coming out saying that all the players don't trust Xavi, there were some reports from ESPN, but I don't think it's reliable whatsoever. If there was, a multitude of reports, players don't really back Xavi, doubts around Xavi, I think there could have been a real scare. But the fact that everyone's together, there's unity, they all, constructive criticism to each other, that is, of course, very important. Now, the situation right now is a bit fragile, so the question really is there a possibility for Xavi to be sacked this season? Now, Javi Miguel from AES came out saying that Xavi has not given up and will not give up. He is convinced that he is able to turn around the situation and has enough strength to do so as well. Keep in mind, Javi Miguel very close to Xavi. The feeling is that Xavi will continue until the end of the season at a minimum, but only 3 cases can be said for him to be sacked this season. 1, early elimination in the cup. Early elimination pretty much means if he loses this game, he could genuinely be sacked. And I, for one, as it pays me to say it, could not really argue against it. Secondly, back-to-back negative results in La Liga in a row. So maybe get 2 or 3 games, maybe 4 games in a row where we're just playing crap and we're not winning games. That could potentially get him sacked. Thirdly, an early elimination in the Champions League. So pretty much to get past Napoli, you'll probably be fine. So for Xavi to keep his job until the end of the season, just beat Unionistas now, get to the quarterfinals of the Cup, and then beat Napoli and get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, survive in La Liga, and he'll be the manager by the end of the season. Will he survive until the new season, though? That remains to be seen. Javi Miguel also mentioned that if Joan Laporta decides to sack Xavi at the end of the season, the Spanish coach will waive all the salary left in his contract and leave for free, and he does not want to cause any problems for Barcelona. That, of course, is the utmost amount of loyalty from Xavi himself, and of course, we do appreciate it. So in regards to the situation, this is just even more of a must-win game for Xavi, because if we lose this game, there is genuine chance we could have a different manager for the Real Betis game this weekend, which will be absolutely wild. But again, the situation now is becoming more and more clear for Xavi. There are maybe a few odd scenarios where he could get sacked this season, but most likely he will survive until the end, and hopefully now he can rally up the troops, get the morale and confidence up, and make a big push now in the next few months of the season. Now, we do have some updates in regards to player fitness and injury in the first team, despite no squad list being released quite yet. We saw some clips of Lewandowski limping, leaving the stadium in Riyadh following the Super Cup final, but according to reports, he is alright, although he had discomfort in his ankle after the game against Real Madrid. Any injury for Robert Lewandowski has been ruled out. He did train yesterday as normal with the team as well. So Robert Lewandowski had maybe a little bit of a knock after the Super Cup final, but everything seems to be okay now. He is fully fit for the match tomorrow. Whether he starts or not, of course, remains to be seen. Next update is on Victor Roque. Mundo Deportivo have come out saying that Xavi does not want to rush Victor Roque. He did not play a single minute in the Spanish Super Cup, but the fact that he's at a different physical level from the rest of his teammates also counts as well. So apparently Victor Roque not quite up to the fitness levels of Barcelona, of a European club, and also he did have a little bit of discomfort after the Barbastro game, and that's why his minutes have been not as much as we expected over the recent matches, but hopefully in this game he can get some significant minutes. Next big new injury update is around João Cancelo, who did not train yesterday and today as well. Sport have come out saying that Cancelo continues his recovery, and everything indicates that he will not play against Unionistas in the Copa del Rey. He is fully focused on being fit for the Betis match this weekend. I think if he's not training by Friday, there's absolutely no chance he'll be on the trip to Betis. I think at this point, you can pretty much rule out him starting. We're now, 2 or 3 days away from the Betis game. He's not training in the with the first team whatsoever, so I don't think he'll start the game against Betis. Maybe he'll be in the squad. Let's get medical clearance. But again, this is kind of the time that we did expect for Cancelo, so I'm kind of glad the club didn't really rush, his recovery. We heard against Las Palmas, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month at most. We're kind of reaching now the 2-week mark, so we could see him come back at any point in the next few weeks. But again, the club, of course, where the severity of the injury was in his left knee, don't want to rush it whatsoever. And finally, a quick fitness update, you could say, on Pedri. Fran Martinez from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Pedri is not expected to start against Unionistas de Salamanca in the Cup, but he rather expected to be starting against Betis in La Liga during the weekend. So again, Pedri still recovering from his injury, played half an hour against Osasuna, 60 minutes against Real Madrid. He should be now, of course, be able to fit to be start, but Xavi and the medical staff don't want to take any risk. They want to make sure he's fully fit 100% for the Betis match, so very unlikely for him to start this game. Let's now take a look at the squad list. The squad list for this match has been released and confirmed, and it is as follows: Balde, Varane, Pedri, Lewandowski, Naki Peña, Joao Felix, Christensen, Romeo, Victor Roque, Roberto De Jong, Gundogan, Koundé, Astralaga, Casado, Cochin, Fermin, Kubrasi, Pau Victor, Marguillo, and Hector Ford. So 8 B team players included in the squad list. Of course, the injured players are still out: Cancelo, Gavi, Ter Stegen, Alonso, Inigo, whatever the case may be. But of course, 2 suspensions for this game. Araujo for his red card in the Super Cup final, not available. And again, Lamine Yamal is still suspended. He is serving his second out of the 2 games that he got a red card for last season for Barca Athletic in the Copa del Rey, the second Division 1. So besides from the suspension and the injuries that we already knew about going into this game, there are no other surprises in the squad list. Time now to get into the press conference reaction of Xavi Hernandez. Of course, this is a big press conference following the defeat in the Cup final and all the news in the media that I've already covered about his managerial position. Of course, he is previewing a big game, which, if we do end up losing, could lead to his sacking. So let's get and see what Xavi had to say this morning in the press conference. First, it came out saying that we have to do changes in our mindset. It's a different competition now. It's clear that we are the favorites against Salamanca, but we have to prove it. They are very clear. They have potential, and we also have to analyze the game here that they had against Barca Athletic, where they won 2-0. For them, it's a game for their life. It will be a difficult matchup. Then asked on Laporta's visit, Laporta did visit the training center today. He did watch the entire training session and also had a meeting with Xavi and the players as well. And Xavi said faith and confidence in the staff and in the players. That's what he conveyed to us. Then Xavi was asked about the support of the players. Like I mentioned already, there were some reports, I think from ESPN, saying that, a lot of the players don't really trust Xavi. They think he's going to get inevitably sacked. And Xavi said this: the day I even notice that the players are not with me, I will take my things and leave immediately. So Xavi saying as soon as he feels that he's lost the dressing room or the players not listening to him whatsoever, he will walk away from the job. We did things very badly the other day, and we want to do them well in the upcoming matchups. Will the titles determine my future? It has always been the objective and always said so. When I was hired, they told me that I had to get 4th in La Liga, and we achieved it. Last year, the objective was to win the league and the Super Cup, and we ended up doing so. This year, the objective is to win important titles, Copa del Rey, La Liga, or the Champions League. If the objectives are not achieved, I'll be the first to say that I have not achieved them, and I will leave. This is my reality, and I think we are very much closer to success than we are to defeat. So, in the sense of what his objectives were over the past 2 seasons, he did achieve them. He was correct. Of course, the first time he came in, finished 4th, and against in the Champions League, he got 2nd. The next season, won the league. He won the league, and he also won a Super Cup as well. This season, he got to progress further, win important titles. Again, the important titles are still up for grabs. I think the Super Cup has been not a bit overhyped, but has been a bit over, prioritized. I think because it was against Real Madrid, it was in Riyadh, that's what gave him more importance, which, again, it's still an important title, but the Super Cup is the least of our priorities out of the 4 trophies, which I think some people need to keep that in mind. I'm not saying that I'm not justifying the loss whatsoever, but I just think that that has to be taken into account. Despite losing the Super Cup, I think we are closer to victory. I don't control what happens outside the club. The other day we made things too easy for ourselves. We have to be convincing in both areas, defense and attack, of course. Then he's asked about Pep's support. Of course, Pep came out during the FIFA Gala yesterday, giving Xavi full support and actually saying that the players should make that step up. And Xavi said, first, I would like to thank Pep. I've already sent him a message thanking him. He knows how difficult the job is. Today, I'm very happy with the presence of the president and his optimism as well. Then he's asked on criticism, saying that I think all opinions are respectable. When the club comes to hire me in Qatar, they tell me that we are in a complicated moment and we have to, revolutionize. I was calm. We had 3 titles ahead of us, and I had the same enthusiasm as I did the first day. I know where I am, and I know the club perfectly well. Talking to the players, we gave them encouragement that this goes on and that there's 3 titles left to fight for, and we did not compete well in the final. Let's cheer up. There are still 3 titles left. Madrid were in the other place last year and ended up winning the Copa del Rey, so let's go for it. Fair shout, but I think, again, just winning the Copa del Rey this season is not going to be great success for Xavi, depending on how far he gets in the Champions League and also how close we are to losing La Liga. I think if we, quarterfinals, lose the league by maybe 5 points max and win the cup, there are things and stipulations that could maybe keep Xavi in the job that by just winning the cup. But if he was absolutely no silverware, I think his time will be up. The fans give me encouragement. The other day after the final, I understood the disappointment, but they encouraged me and tell me that there is still 3 titles left. Finally, he gave us an update on the injury of Victor Roque, saying that Victor Roque has some discomfort and that's why he didn't play in the Super Cup, but he trained well today and they will be ready for the match tomorrow. And that concluded Xavi's press comments reaction ahead of the match against Unionistas tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Xavi Hernandez. I'm going to try my best to predict this lineup. I think it will be fairly simple to predict. Again, keep in mind we have a few injuries, a few suspensions as well. You have to field, I believe, 7 first-team players from the start or 6 first-team players at the start. So we are going to be expecting a fairly strong side for Barcelona tomorrow, not only because we kind of have to because of injuries and other things as well, but also with the pressure on us. I think that Xavi will go with this lineup on the screen right now. I think he'll go with Iñaki Peña in goal, a back 4 of Roberto, Koundé, Christensen, and Alejandro Balde, midfield 3 of De Jong, Gundogan, and Fermin Lopez, and a front 3 of Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, and João Felix. In regards to the back 5, I think the only change we could see is Hector Fort coming in. Again, Araujo is suspended for this game following his red card in the Super Cup final, so no Araujo. Inigo, of course, is injured. Marcos Alonso is injured, so in order to make up a fully complete back line, we may see Roberto drop from midfield to right back. If Xavi really has balls to him, he probably will put Hector Fort there, but I think he will go with Roberto at right back. Midfield 3 picks itself as well. Will he really start Romeo in this game? I don't think so. I think there is way too much pressure to rely on Romeo, even though I think this is the game Romeo should be playing. So I think he will pick fairly strong in De Jong and Gundogan with no Roberto in there. If he wants to, he can rest one of De Jong and Gundogan, bringing Hector Fort right back and then move Roberto in the midfield. That's definitely a possibility. I think Fermin Lopez will 100% start. Front 3 as well almost picks itself. Victor Roque not quite fit. Lamine Yamal is still suspended. He's serving a 2-game ban for his red card last season. with, I think, Barca Athletic against Malaga. So these are the one game against Barbastro. This will be the second game. So no Lamine Yamal, no Victor Roque. So you got what, Mark Guayo on the bench and Victor Roque as well. So this pretty much this front three picks itself as well. So we might see a very, very strong side. I think from this lineup, one or two changes at the absolute most. One of those changes could be Hector Fort, may even see Romeu. I think apart from that, this team is pretty much set in stone to be a very strong side. I think this will be the lineup Xavi Hernandez was left for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Xavi will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was a Barcelona coach, and I have made a few changes from Xavi's lineup selection. I've gone with this lineup on the screen right now. I've gone with Iñaki Peña in goal, a back four of Hector Fort, Koundé, Christensen, and Alejandro Balde, midfield three of Romeo Roberto and Fermin Lopez, and a front three of Ferran Torres, Victor Roque, and João Felix. So firstly, the change I've made, I've started Victor Roque ahead of Lewandowski. For me, if Victor Roque is fully fit and can start, he has no physical discomfort, I would give him the nod. Lewandowski needs to be rested. Again, he had a little bit of a discomfort after the Super Cup final. You can't take any risk. We cannot suffer another injury, especially at a point at this moment this season. De Jong and Gundogan for me were the number one priorities to rest in this game. They are so pivotal to our team that if either one of them, God forbid both of them get injured, might as well sack Xavi and call the season off right now. So I've gone with Romeu in the pivot. I think this is the perfect moment for him. I think Roberto can play these games as well. I think it's time now to give Roberto some more minutes for a longer period of time. He always plays with the first team in the lineup, then just gets taken off in an hour for fresh legs. So I would go with him, and of course Fermin on the left. Of course Hector Fort at right back for me as well. I think he played very well against Barbastro on the left, so hopefully he can put in the same performance on the right. In regards to Koundé and Christensen, there really was no one else. I really didn't want to play Koundé. I think Koundé's had a lot of minutes recently. I don't really want him to suffer an injury. I think Christensen has been kind of in and out a little bit, so you can kind of get away with him. Also Balde as well, but Koundé for me is the real worry in regards to injury in this starting lineup. But there's no one else. You can't really put in a Macalfe, Kobrasi, a McBack. It's way too much of a risk. So I've gone with Koundé, hoping that he can survive an hour, and then hopefully we're up, 2-0, something like that. We could take him off. But apart from that, this is the lineup that I have selected for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you'd rather pick my lineup or Xavi's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I've gone with Barcelona winning this game 2-1. I am, dare I say, confident we're going to progress in some capacity. Whether we go to extra time, penalties, it's a 5-4 Barcelona win. It remains to be seen for me. I think 100% we will not keep a clean sheet. I think we will concede. The question really, and I think that will dictate what happens in this game, is when. If we concede first, I promise you, we are toasted. We cannot afford to concede first. Even if we score, make it 1-0, then they bring it back 1-1, that is fine. We cannot go 1-0 down. That is all I'm asking. That's my verdict. I think we will progress. I've gone with random 2-1 just because we've been winning games a lot 2-1 this season. Win by 2 goals. We're gonna have to restart that streak. I think that streak is way out the window at this point. But I'm very confident Barcelona will progress. And I've got the official score prediction of 2-1 for the blaugrana. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was a match preview for Unionistas de Salamanca versus Barcelona in the Copa del Rey round of 16. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing, unfortunately, of course, is your score prediction, and secondly, on those lineups. Firstly, would you rather pick my lineup or Xavi's lineup? What do you think Xavi would go with? What would you go with, you're the manager? Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me, watch the game with me. Follow share for the match, buy my match review. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Our whole entire season will be defined in this game. If we progress, we got some momentum. If we get knocked out, I'm 100% calling the season off. I think Barcelona probably will as well. So big moment tomorrow, and hopefully we can progress and walk away with somewhat of a positive moment and result. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Yeah.